Let's go. Are we actually on? You're here listening with Kayla
and Georgia,
bringing you real, raw, and relatable chats on the Evolve to Thrive podcast.
Stay tuned because shit's about to get juicy as we dive into all things health, fitness, life, and relationships.
Let's go. Woo! On today's episode, we have the one and only Michael Trimboli. I'm sure most of the listeners know who you are, but for those who don't, Michael is a world of knowledge when it comes to the online coaching space, having coached a large number of comp prep clients from a number of federations, including ICN, NBA, INBA, and the WBFF. So today we delve right into Michael's own personal health and fitness journey, how he got into the world of online coaching, and more importantly, how he grew Team Trimboli to where it is today. We are going to be unpacking a number of common health and fitness concerns and things that we've all observed in the realm of coaching. We know so many of you will resonate with this one, and we hope you find a lot of value in the episode. So without further ado, please welcome the one and only Michael Trimboli.
Ooh, wow.
That was an intro.
That was amazing. I was like, is she reading the right script? Is
I
this
did.
the right person she's talking about? This guy
this
sounds
me?
pretty cool.
I made this up.
Thank you so much. I actually listened to your other episode. Actually, I've listened to all of them. And,
Have
and
you?
everyone should. Yeah.
Oh, bless.
I listened to the WBFF one,
Yeah.
obviously, right? So I didn't know you ate all that. No, I did. No, I did.
I've been sprung.
You were honest with me. It's all good. But you said some really, really nice words, and I appreciate it, and so did you. So thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Well,
it so much.
I guess, context. So Michael is Georgia's comp prep
Oh, yeah, for
coach,
those who don't
which
know.
we forgot to drop the bomb of. So for those of you that don't know, yes, we've got Georgia's coach in for the ride today. So
And he's coming off the back of my last episode where I confessed all the food that I ate in the last 2 weeks. So
Mhm. No, you were honest with me.
yeah.
Yeah, you didn't hide anything.
did you know the extreme of what she was going through in her peak week? Like when she was at the
Yeah.
chronicles of fucked up?
Yeah,
I think I just told you that I was having a mentee B. That's it.
Yeah, you were definitely open with me about
Yeah.
it all and how you're feeling, which you should.
Mm.
I need to know these things.
Mm.
And to be honest, it was quite normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite normal. It's what most people go through when they need to dig that last little bit. Because I know with you, we had that kind of like that refeed carb up, like it was around about 2.5 weeks out.
Yeah.
And then it was like a week push before
Yeah.
peak week. And then with basically a carb up from about Wednesday onwards from there. So I knew that, especially after you come off having a bit of food, the after that, it's
downhill.
It feels worse than what it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like when you're so close, you can kind of just push through the pain a little bit.
Yeah. And also too, there's like the mental battle of,
Yeah.
the show's coming up. Have I done everything I need to do? Is my posing correct? So
Yeah.
there's mental fatigue, also physical fatigue too. So it just all compounds.
Oh,
It all comes
she's in a
crumbling
Yeah.
down.
she's in a much better place now. Let's
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do our life update then. So you're out of prep. You are officially in your reverse diet. We've got our segment of the cravings of the week. Are we having any cravings since you no longer are deprived?
No. So on every episode, I've literally done food for my craving of the week.
Mhm.
I think I've done one tip and the rest have just been food. But I actually haven't been craving any food. I've kind of just gone back to what I was usually eating and I've felt all right. I've had a bit of chocky here and there, but nothing like, not craving anything, which is good.
It's
I
good.
feel.
Like,
Yeah.
as I said to you, like every week should get easier.
Yeah.
And it has. And you've improved every single week.
Yeah.
Like we're not expecting perfection.
Yep.
We're just expecting improvements. And
Yeah.
you have. So it's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
But are we doing our craving?
Yeah, let's do a
Yeah,
craving.
Yeah, let's
We
go straight
can't
into it.
miss
Let's just
the
go straight
craving.
into it.
Well, come on, we got to do a craving. Wait, do you have a tip?
A tip?
then?
No, I have. So the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to, I don't know if anyone's heard of She's on the Money podcast.
Oh, you're a bit behind on that, Dal.
No, so I was listening to it and then I got offered a bit and then I'm like, okay, I need to get back onto it and get myself into action.
Is this because you're poor?
It's right off the back of prep, I'm just poor. So I need to get my finances back. But I've been reading She's on the Money, the book.
Oh, the book.
Yeah, and listening to their podcast. It's so good.
Yeah.
So good. They break it down just
In lame terms.
Yeah. So it's really easy to understand, and it's a really good book, really good podcast. So She's on the Money podcast is what my tip is for the week.
Perfect.
Okay, that's your tip to listen to it.
To listen to
Okay,
it.
done. I'll take it on board.
What's yours?
I am craving a motherfucking holiday.
Yep.
Like, I need a holiday now.
You've had a lot on your plate.
Do you know what it was? It was the sunshine today.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where I'm the most happiest ever. Like, when I'm walking in the sun, it's a vibe. And it brings, happiness to my day. So I was like, I need to be in the sunshine about now.
You can't not be happy when the sun is shining.
You can't.
No.
This is why the Gold Coast is calling me.
It's calling us.
November can't come quick enough.
She's like, I'm going to the Gold Coast now for my comp in November.
Yeah.
I'll meet you there.
Another one now.
Yeah, literally. Ever since April, though, when we went up for the first show.
I never have a shit time in the Gold Coast.
No.
I never do. Actually, there was one time.
But we won't go there.
But moving on. What about you, Michael? What are we craving or tipping?
I'm craving Biscoff. No, I'm joking. I had to say that. No, I'm just
Jim Shit.
She's had enough for fucking 3 weeks.
I'm craving. So, when you get your hair cut, right?
Yeah.
It might be different for females, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same. And then you lay in that chair, head back.
Hair wash. Hair wash.
A massage. Head massage. Warm water. You can't hear anything. And
You're
get a
craving
massage.
that.
Yeah.
That is
You know why?
a great tip. Like, a craving, though. That is awesome.
I had a haircut last week and it's all fresh. I'm like, I need that again. And the worst thing is that in prep, your hair doesn't grow as fast. So I remember in prep, I was like, when am I going to get another haircut? I need a head massage. Like, I really need this.
Yeah, to be fair, in prep, I was balding. Not this time around, but my first one, I was balding.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
Really?
That's
Jesus.
not good.
Receding hairline, hair falling out. Not good.
That is not healthy.
But,
Not healthy.
Like in prep, I used to love going to the barber because that would be my nap time. I would literally fall asleep. And because it's different, I guess, with girls because they're just chopping your hair, but it's close, right?
Well, I mean, you've got to sit there for 3 to 4 hours to
right?
dye
6
it.
at least
And
for
then
me.
you can literally stand still, sit still, have a nap, and then they wake you up with the hairdryer on your face. It feels perfect.
I hate being at the hairdressers.
Really?
Yeah,
I
can't relate.
work. I multitask. I take my laptop because I know it's a full day.
Oh, you're one of
Yeah.
those people that are on their phone,
Yeah, I'm doing probably my social media planning or
wow.
content while
No.
I'm getting my hair dyed.
eyes closed.
Depends who you're with, because a lot of women hairdressers are just yap.
That. But the chick that I go to, she is unreal with her massage chair with the.
So good.
That's what we
my
need.
craving. There you
Yeah.
I just
Love
have a
it.
feeling this episode's going to go for 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
go. Okay, let's move on.
Let's
right.
get straight into it. So, do you want to do a little scrollsies?
Let's scroll. So we've got a lot of questions for you, and George is going to start us off.
What 3 words would your friends use to describe the type of person you are?
I would say respectful, loyal, and understanding.
I love that.
Is he understanding?
Very understanding. Very understanding.
Awesome. So Michael, who are you and what do you do? Tell the listeners.
What I do is I listen to women complain about their weight. Comfort coach,
Yeah.
which is the same
No.
thing.
We want to hear. We want to hear the
exact same
first.
thing.
We want to hear the first part more, which is very accurate.
Yeah, that's what I do. So, comp prep coach, only train females.
No male comment. No
no
male.
males. No,
Really?
no, just kind of it evolved that way,
And
now
you-
it's thriving.
It's
Love
evolving
that.
and thriving.
Very good.
We love that. Do you only have prep clients?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, it's evolved into that too.
Okay.
So, like every PT, they probably start with lifestyle client,
Yeah.
and then if they want a niche, they eventually start to niche,
Yeah.
and that's what happened with me.
Yeah. So let's take us back to the start then of your journey, and do we want to go more into your journey, or do we want to get to know how you actually got into the PT world to begin with?
Yeah, do
yeah,
both.
I can do both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
So fitness for myself, I actually started training. There's a photo of me training
We'll have to get that up.
when I'm about 4 years old doing a bench press.
Oh, cute.
I can show you the photo. Got my little baby afro happening.
It started early.
That's so cute. We're going to put it on the screen. Yeah.
Baby afro, yes.
Yeah. So because my dad had some gym equipment at home in the cellar, and we'd see him work out, my brother and I, he's 2 years older than me, and we'd kind of like try to join in and like lift like the dumbbell with no weight on and stuff
I
like
love that.
So I was kind of around it. And then obviously growing up, you know, kind of trying to stay fit. I was always like my dad's really, really solid. So I had his build. So people around you kind of think, oh, you're the strong guy, you're the muscly guy. So you kind of try to keep that up by training and looking after yourself. If that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
And then really started like proper weight training in some kind of context when I was pretty much when I left school. Yeah. So like during, you know, year 11, year 12, I was a bit of a nerd. So
what did you do that was nerdy?
Oh, I just studied and just, you know, did school and just made sure I was one of those people that had to try really, really hard to do well.
Oh,
I was the same.
Yeah.
But, I could learn anything, but it just took me time.
That's me, 100%.
Yeah. So pretty much after that, when I jumped into uni, that's when I started kind of picking up the training.
And then, so did you study, what did you study at uni?
Yeah. So I went into uni, I did mechanical engineering.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. So I did that for, obviously it was a 4 or 5 year course.
Yep.
And then from there, I worked in the automotive industry as an engineer.
How long did you do that for?
I did that for about 4.5, 5 years.
It's so interesting to see like
what people do before.
From.
Yeah. And because you never know, like you never expect it. Like I would never have thought that. And it's so interesting when you hear people have a whole new career before what they actually do now, which is wild.
But as I kind of keep telling you, you'll see how everything that I did made me
shaped you.
Yeah, made me the coach I am today.
Yeah.
So, you know, doing engineering, it's very process driven. You know, you've got to know all the intricate details of everything and how things work and how things come together. You also got to know how to study things and work things out, right?
And problem solve,
right? So I did that for about 4.5 years, and an automotive industry died in Australia. So then I went into corporate and I worked for ANZ Bank as like a project manager.
Oh, okay.
So I did that.
How long ago was that?
That was, I was there, that would have been 2011.
Wow.
Because 2011 was my first comp. And I remember going to my interview the day before my comp.
No, you didn't.
With fake tan.
No.
Not on my face, but I had it on my hands, and I made sure I had my hands under the desk.
But what about when you reached out to shake their hand?
Yeah, well, it's a quick handshake.
It's a quick one in and out.
It's a quick in and out.
They thought you were awkward.
And I actually remember that because it was a day before the show and I was deprived. I had
no brain capacity
nothing
there.
happening. So my mum actually drove me to the interview, and I had like 3 or 4 shots of coffee before I went in, so I could literally at least get through it. So that's how I know it lined up. So then I was at ANZ for 5 years.
So you got the job.
Yeah, I got the job. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, I got the job. I would not recommend doing that.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I got the job, and then I was there for about 5 or so years, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. This is not for me.
Isn't it funny when you know? I'll be careful with what I say, but you definitely you know.
Yeah, and so during that time, fitness kept evolving. So while I was at doing engineering at Toyota, I was training and I was interested in fitness, and I was, you know, trying to learn things. Back then there was no Instagram, no social media, there was no nothing. It was literally bodybuilding.com.
Did
forums.
you literally? Wow. I have the same conversation with people that have been in the industry for the same amount of time, and it was all bodybuilding.com because I did the same.
Yeah.
Like what year was it that you kind of, was it probably at 2013?
No, so 2011 is my first comp.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was educating myself from
that.
So 2003 when I left school until then. So it's a good 7, 8 years.
How old are you?
38 at the end of the year.
Ooh, there you go.
1985.
Wow. Yeah. There you go.
So,
well, you're 10 years older than me then.
There you go.
There.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was just educating myself during that time. I then prepped myself for my own comp.
Yeah. Was that ICN as well?
Back then it was A&B.
A&B, yeah.
So you prepped yourself for your very first show?
Yeah, prepped myself for my first show.
Wow.
Just reading bodybuilding.com and just back then it was websites and articles.
Yeah.
Right. And all the people that everyone looks up to now, they were just starting on bodybuilding.com back then, like the Lane Nortons and all that kind of stuff.
I remember because that was
Wow.
me.
Starting like If It Fits Your Macros just started then. Like
That's literally when I started researching into all of it too, and it's so wild how it's just all evolved now.
Yeah, so prepped myself, ended up winning my show. There's a little bit of a story. So
yeah, go into it.
I came second in my first time division. The guy that came first won the overall and then got tested positive for taking substances.
So you technically won.
So then they mailed me my first place trophy.
Wow.
Yeah, they said, well, he got disqualified.
Clearly, yeah.
So that was my first.
Because A&B is a natural federation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible though, like the fact that you've prepped yourself for your very first show.
Yeah, prepped myself. So back then it was like a bro prep.
It's so different.
It was, but it started to evolve from there. Like If It Fits Your Macros started to kind of come out then, and there's a little bit more knowledge come out about some of the stuff that we're doing today. So it was a bro diet, bro prep, but not all the way there. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
And then so then coming out of the back of that, I was in that position where, like everyone was, it's like eat 8 meals a day, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, no, like there's got to be
a better way.
Yeah, and then people started talking about intermittent fasting. That's when it started. I was like, okay, to prove that I don't need to eat 8 meals a day, I'm going to only eat 2 and see what happens, right? So it's like to prove to myself that it worked. Did it for 3 months, no negative effects. It was fine. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And then If It Fits Your Macros came out, started experimenting with that, and then eventually things evolve and you learn a little bit more, right? And obviously the best place to be is somewhere in the middle of all that, really.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's not 8 meals a day. You don't need that. It's not 2. It's somewhere in the middle there. You don't need full If It Fits Your Macro, eating junk food for everything. You don't need a full bro diet. It's somewhere in the middle of that. So it's funny how like things haven't really changed, but there were extreme time periods where people were doing the extremes.
I was going to say, yeah, like with that, I feel like most coaches have gone through the experimenting of a lot of the approaches. Like they've gone through the extremes. They've had the shit times. They've kind of they've had to learn from their experience.
Yeah, totally.
And
the only
find
way
out
to
for
learn.
themselves. Yeah, like it's definitely trial and error, I think. And then you find out what works best for you at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then, so I competed, was in ANZ. Obviously coming off the back of competing, people start asking you for advice and that kind of stuff, and everyone, and then like Facebook is starting up, so you make a like page, like back then when you had like a public figure page, so you make that and you start like sharing information.
So did you have a Michael Trimboli like page?
Yeah, it's still there actually.
I love it. We need to go
there.
like it.
Yeah, it's still there. Actually, I think everything that I post on Instagram just goes there anyways. It's like linked.
You've got to unlink
Yeah, whatever.
it. Yeah.
So then people start asking you questions, and you can't start helping people out, and you get more involved in it, and you start educate yourself even more.
You literally just fell into it.
Yeah, and then I was just like, you know what, this 9 to 5 is not as fun as what I think it is.
Tell us more. Yeah, believing the 9 to 5. Let's go. So what year was that?
So 2016, at the end of 2016 is when I wrapped up work at ANZ.
Yep.
And I started coaching full time. But I had been helping people and coaching people a little bit, but it wasn't full time. Yeah. So I made a calculated guess, like a calculated risk.
Yeah.
Because at that time I had already bought a house. I had a home loan. So I was like, okay, well, I need to make sure I have enough money to at least sustain me for a good 3 to 6 months while I try to build my business. But during that time, when I was at ANZ, I was doing like my online PT course. I was doing everything that I needed to do. I was like I started to build my Instagram. I started to like build my website, which no one ever does anymore. I started to do all that.
You just start paying everyone to do all these jobs for you now, whereas you were doing it all yourself.
I mean, like no one uses the website really. Like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
what website were you building?
I just like michaeltrimboli.com, like, you know, just
Oh,
like,
okay,
a website.
yeah.
His coaching
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, just like a coaching website, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But so I was doing all the back end work so that when I finished, I hit the ground running.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like I finished and I'm like, oh, okay, I better get a PT course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better look into that.
You
Yeah,
do have to kind of be doing things simultaneously.
you have to.
I think.
Yeah.
For sure, especially when you're leaving your like secure full-time job.
Yeah, like a good paying corporate 9
Yeah.
to 5
How
that I've
did
been there
you-
for 5 years. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
intense. How did you feel in that moment when you resigned officially?
Best day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like walking out of that office and seeing other people walk in, I was like,
See
See
ya.
ya.
I'm not
See you later.
serious. I'm not. Yeah, I'm out.
What was like the initial thought, or not the initial thought, but what was like the what am I trying to say? That made you be like, okay, nah, I'm quitting today.
Again,
Or you're
and
making
just
that
a
risk.
calculated, like guess.
Okay,
Like a
yeah.
calculated risk. Right?
As in, there wasn't a pivotal moment.
Yeah, that's the word I was
The
looking for. Moment.
Yeah. In which you were like, nah, fuck this, I'm out.
I have to make that leap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I wasn't getting any more enjoyment out of my job.
Yeah.
It's like it was just like it became easy.
Yeah.
Like I just knew
You
what I had
needed
to
a
do
challenge.
every day. It just became easy, and I wasn't passionate about it. I thought to myself, if I want to leave, and this is not everyone needs to think about this, right? Like think like this, but for me, I thought if I want to leave a legacy, or when someone thinks about me in the future, they don't think about that was the dude that made some cool spreadsheets, right?
Yeah.
It's like no, that was the guy who helped me achieve X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
there's something there that's that was meaningful. No, like I wasn't helping anyone making PowerPoint presentations,
Yeah.
just getting someone through a project. It wasn't helping anyone, right?
It just says a lot about your character. Like, I think you're someone who's got a lot of drive, you're very ambitious, and clearly there was a need for people to need your help. So you kind of just fell down into that path. And
Yeah.
now you're following a career and a passion that you love. And can I ask you this? Do you feel like all of the hours that you put into coaching and your clients, because running a business is hard. Like running a business is more than a full-time job. Like it's your whole life, right?
Yeah.
Like you spend endless amounts of time that you don't calculate your hours. It's not like I worked this many hours and this is what I get paid for. It's so different. Does it feel like work to you?
It doesn't feel like work. So I've got, MG, Michael, Scotty. So they're two other coaches that I work with, and we do a podcast, etc. And we sometimes look at each other when we're like at a show or in the airport going to a workshop. We're like, hey, guess what? We're working right now.
We're working right
Yeah.
now. It's so true.
Yeah.
That's how work should be. Like
Yeah.
you should be like feeling fulfilled and doing stuff that gives you purpose and like makes
100%.
you happy and love life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you want
It's
to
a
wake up every
different
day
feeling.
and get a corporate job every day. Like far out. Like
Yeah, 100%. It's not easy though.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
like you work harder. I work way harder now
Oh,
than what I ever did in my 9 to 5.
without a doubt. There was actually a question that Georgia had in here, and it was like along the lines of saying that about the time that you put into your coaching. And I've literally just lost my train of thought, but there's definitely a question.
No, I don't know what the question is, but I know what people might be asking is
Yeah.
like, is the amount of hours you put in worth the amount of money you receive, or how much someone pays for coaching? If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
that's
that fits.
interesting to know too.
It doesn't weigh up. Like the amount of energy I put into my
Yeah.
clients does not weigh up the weekly payment they pay me.
No,
Yeah.
Not even
and
close.
I was going to say, you definitely, if you're someone that wants to go into the online coaching space, you would not assume, like you're not doing it for the money.
No.
You're absolutely not doing it for the money.
I think what the question you were asking is like, because I know on one of your podcasts you were talking about with online coaching, it's more than just coaching. You're taking on, you're almost like mentoring them as well.
100%.
And you're taking on a lot of their emotions. And like you said at the start, you're listening to a lot of women complain. So it's like, do you ever feel that like that becomes almost too much as well when you're like taking on everyone's like shit and like, I don't know, because sometimes, you might be the person that they unload on and you have 4 or 5 or 6 or I don't know 25 people that do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it like that sometimes becomes too much?
You definitely need to be mentally stable to be an online coach.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of life coaching too, right?
Yeah.
So,
you hear a lot of problems.
you deal with everything. Like I've dealt with some really bad stuff. Like I'll say it, but like someone's daughter passing away, like that kind of stuff, someone losing a child, people obviously breakups, deaths in the family, like you're dealing with some really bad stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
That if you don't have any life experience, you don't know how to deal with that.
No.
If you just come out of uni or not out of school and just start to coach people that are going through some really difficult times, it's going to be really hard to handle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other aspect of being a coach. Like you need to be able to or not even understand, but just be able to empathize and be like, this person ain't going to be compliant this week. Like this person is not on this week. Like
Love how you look at me for that.
Do you know what I mean? Because I understand, because like you definitely get like, especially if your clients go through a breakup or they're going through a divorce or they're going through these life, these life crisis.
Yeah.
Of course they're not, but like they don't give a fuck about their training.
No.
They don't give a fuck
You
about
emotionally eat as well.
Yeah,
A lot
they
of
don't.
people
And
emotionally
this is
eat.
the thing. Like, if you don't understand the psychology behind why people do things, like you're just going to set this person up for failure, or they're just going to feel like a failure that they're not, being adherent.
Yeah, so you need to be mentally stable yourself. You also need to be patient.
Yes.
And understanding that sometimes they're got no energy, they're dieting, they're sensitive, and they're just going to say things sometimes that really they shouldn't be saying to you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
What did Georgia? Has Georgia said anything?
No, not you, but like it could come across.
Yes.
If I didn't understand
Yep.
where it was coming from, then you could take offense to it. So you've got to be understanding. And also too is there's a flip side. If I'm going through something, I'm going through a breakup, if I'm going through something in my personal life, I've got to make sure it doesn't affect my clients and
100%.
the service I provide for them. So you really got to be able to separate the two and just be really, really mindful of those kind of things.
Well, what is one big challenge that you find with being an online coach?
I think the switching off, like the amount of hours you do.
Yep.
Like, before I said I'm going to put my phone on silent because it's just going to keep going, because it'll keep going. And if I wanted to, I could leave here and continue to work and answer messages if I really wanted to. So I think one of the difficult parts is knowing your boundaries, knowing when to stop.
How do you stop?
Setting your own boundaries and really sticking to them.
Yeah. So what kind of boundaries? Do you have boundaries in terms of when your clients contact you and when you kind of say to them, look, I'm not going to be responding to, messages after this time, or do you have those kind of boundaries in place?
I don't really explicitly say them, but they understand that, well, they get the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
If they message me at a certain time at night and they never get a response, they know that that's
he's sleeping.
I'm probably sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So
do you have a lot of clients that are like that that'll message you at midnight?
Yeah, but my phone's on do not disturb, so it doesn't even light up, right? It's like
that baffles me.
I do that though.
Yeah.
I had this person messaging me. They're like, every time I call you, your phone's on do not disturb. I was like, because I don't want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people just don't like. Surely it gets to like 9 p.m. and you're like, okay, I'll wait. This question can wait to the next day.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Sometimes it's on their mind and they just want to put it in a message and it's sent and it's off their list. Yeah. Which is fine. Like it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I actually do that to Belle, definitely. And I'm like, don't reply to me, reply tomorrow. So I do that.
Yeah. So that's one of the hardest parts of being an online coach is setting your own boundaries to make sure that you just don't, work yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
What would you say, because you do a lot of face-to-face as well, don't you?
No.
Or not so much anymore?
Now. All online.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been just online for?
So basically it was face-to-face around about 60% online, 40% face-to-face before COVID.
Yep.
Right? And then once COVID hit, obviously everything was online. Yeah. And then just never went back to face-to-face after that. It's like, well, this is a perfect opportunity that people can see that online works. Yeah. Even the ones that wanted face-to-face, and then just continue on. Do
you feel like COVID kind of helped your business grow, or were you affected a lot by it?
I wasn't affected by it.
Yeah.
I didn't see a dip or anything because all my clients are competitors. So they all wanted to stay fit.
They needed
they needed something. They needed coaching. They needed help through the whole process. Also too is because some of my clients are also PTs and coaches, during that time I took an opportunity to educate them. So I did a lot of like Zoom classes and calls and actually did like little seminars for the team.
Oh, that's cool.
Have you
educate them? Yeah.
Have you thought of doing more in that space of more education for PTs? since you've been in the industry for so long?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, he's got something coming, hasn't he?
Yeah, we do. But yeah, I just need more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
as in you need more time to organize it, or
because I want to do it properly.
Yeah.
I want to do it properly. I don't want to half-ass it. So
yeah, I think that's really cool. I think there's a demand for that for sure.
Yeah.
So have you, because I know you said before you coach yourself through your first prep. Did
Mm-hmm.
you ever have your own coach, or have you just coached yourself your entire time?
No, so I coached myself my entire time. The first coach I had was for my last prep last year.
Okay, who was that?
So that was Brandon Kempter.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's from Queensland.
Yeah.
Natural bodybuilding, probably one of the best natural bodybuilders in Australia.
Yeah.
And he coached me for that prep. So that was the first time I had a coach.
Yeah.
And then did you just go?
No, you go.
I was gonna say, did you just do your thorough research with like who you kind of wanted as a coach? And
Yeah, I had been following him and knew of him leading up till that point. And also Scotty, who's the other coach, is also one of my good mates. He had been coached by him before too.
Yeah.
What do you think is something that somebody should look for when they are looking for an online coach?
Yeah, I think look at all the clients that person has. See if they have similar clients to what you are. So if you're a mum in your 30s, do they also coach mums in their 30s?
Yeah.
Do they coach someone similar to you, right? Yeah. I think that an online coach, their business shouldn't be about them. It should be about their clients.
Yeah.
So that's something I look for when I look at their profile, look at their page. I look, are they just taking photos of themselves the whole time and flexing, and that's all their stories? And
they're not just another hot influencer online.
Yeah, for sure.
Are they showing results?
Yeah.
Right? Are they showing results? And then speak to their current clients and just get a feel for how they are, and also reach out to them and see how they respond. Like if you reach out to a coach and they respond with their price and that's it, it's a no-go. That's a red flag.
No, yeah.
If they respond and be like, yeah, cool, when can you jump on a call? There you go. Like that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Straight away.
What would you say are some other red flags of coaching then?
For coaches?
As it's no, sorry, like for a potential client, like someone who's looking for help.
Yeah.
What would be some red flags and things that they should deter away from
when they're looking for a coach? I think, as I said before, make sure that they coach a variety of people, right? And also, I always look at, okay, they have a really amazing client, but when did they start coaching that client? Because there's some coaches that know how to present themselves in a way where they'll get clients that are already good.
Yeah.
Right? And we probably know, so
many of them.
Yeah. So it's not that hard to put a cherry on top of a cake.
Yeah.
Than to actually build the cake from scratch.
Yeah.
Go find the coach that did that.
Yeah.
That built that person from zero to hero. Right?
Yeah.
From average to extraordinary. Yeah. And then didn't just, put a tiara on their head at the end. Right? So really do your research in that way too, because we see that. We see a bit of that, right?
I feel like there's a lot of that too. And even just with like online coaches, like everything on Instagram at the moment is the exact same. Like everyone's doing like the mic'd up sessions. Everyone's just like these hot influencers selling programs and doing the newbie. They're all on the newbie billboards and.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they contacted me, those guys here.
Oh, did they? I think they contacted you too.
They contacted me too.
Didn't respond.
Yeah.
How do you think people can decline block? How do you think people can navigate through like an overwhelming amount of like the information that's out there? How do you think people can like look at that and know what's best for them?
I think comp prep is extreme.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's extremes, right? So there's extremes when it comes to diet. As I said before, there's like full bro, eat only like four types of food. And then there's full, if it fits your macros, try to fit any crap you possibly can within your macros, right?
There's a fine line. Yeah.
Make sure that you educate yourself that, to know what the extremes are and that's not the way to go. Also from a training perspective too, there's also extremes. I remember going through when I was kind of coming up in my own fitness journey, is there was that point in time was like power building was like the thing.
Yeah.
It's like everyone was doing heavy squats and deadlifts and bench and like, and then it went all the way the other extreme was like, then everyone was doing like these pump workouts, booty bands, everything.
Oh, the booty
It was
bands.
like, it was crazy, right? It was going the other way. And then what works? Something in the middle.
Yeah.
Always. And
Yeah.
the problem is that the middle and what works is not sexy at all, right? So no one wants to see your Instagram post of you just doing RDLs 3x10. No one cares, right?
Yeah.
Or no one cares you eating like just like rice, a nice amount of vegetables, and some chicken.
No one cares about that.
No one cares.
It's so
right?
funny that you say this because I find myself literally laughing. I'm like, how do I make my life more interesting? It's just not. It's just this. It's
I had this conversation with someone the other day. I said, do you think people would change the way they eat if they couldn't post what they eat on social media?
Yes, 100%.
100%.
100%.
1,000%.
Could you imagine if you couldn't post you drizzling Biscoff on your oats? You
Yeah.
would never even eat it.
And do you
wouldn't eat it.
Do you know what's baffling? It's like, what is it about us? Or this is a question I'm asking for myself. What is it about? Like when I got to a certain point in my prep, it's just like watching things like that. Just it felt like I was there eating it. Like it felt like I was doing it on my own oats.
See, it blows my mind how you enjoy doing that because I couldn't think of anything worse. I would feel like it's torture looking at it because I can't eat it. Whereas you're like, I'm just getting satisfaction from looking at it.
Yeah, and it was just like my whole feed and everything. Like the guy that we had on last week, Zach, he has a lot of content about.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
People send it to me.
Yeah.
Coach, look at this. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I get it. Don't look at
That's
it.
great.
I just can't help myself. Like it's just like, what is it about? What is it
And all
about
the
us that
loaded
just wants it?
cookies and shit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
But you know what? It sometimes looks way better than what it tastes.
Of course,
100%.
of course.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like going back to the Biscoff, because we'll just talk about you, right? Like I told you and I've told other people, it's like, if you're trying to get 10 grams of Biscoff in your diet, it's not worth it. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Take it out of the pantry.
Yeah.
Right? Get rid of it.
Put it in the bin.
Honestly, like I finished my prep in October last year. The other week I was in my shed getting my stuff out to do gardening.
And you
I found a bag and I was like, what's in this bag? Peanut butter, Biscoff, and some other stuff. I said, this is not being in the house anymore. And I'm like, you know what I did with it?
I love it. You hit it.
I binned it after that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need this.
It's your once you see it, like
Yeah.
sometimes you see things that you don't actually need, and then you convince yourself that you actually want it and need
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and you don't.
I love the fact that I live alone for this reason. So since I went into prep, I was the same. I've binned everything because
Yeah.
I'm like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Like I cannot stand the thought of that being there and me tempting to eat it. And even like with, I would sometimes, if I just wanted it on that one night,
Get excited, are you?
I would have like what I would do. I'd buy the jar of Biscoff. I'd have my spoonful and I'd fucking go put it in the bin.
Yeah,
And I'd be like,
I've done that before too.
it's,
Yeah.
look, I'd get a lot of judgment for wasting food, but I have to do that.
But sometimes it's an instant, like if you've got it sitting there, it's only an instant feeling that you think that you need it, and then if it's sitting there, like it's so easy just to pick up
It's like when you go and do your grocery shopping when you're starving. Like you just don't do that.
don't do it. We don't do that.
No, we don't do that. What were you asking me?
To navigate through like
Yes. How to decipher all the crap information.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you have to understand the foundation of what actually works. So there's like a book by Eric Helms. So he's
Love Eric Helms,
yeah, back in the day.
Oh,
right?
did you mention him on the podcast?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually wrote that in my notes to buy.
Yeah, cool. So it's called the muscle and strength pyramid.
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
And
yes.
it talks about the principles of training and the principles of nutrition, and it's a pyramid, and it's like the most important things at the bottom. Like for nutrition, it's like calories, macros.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, share what those are then. Do you know at the top of your head?
I can't remember
Oh,
all
you
of
can't?
them, right? But I know
Okay.
like nutrition is like calories and macros are at the bottom.
Yeah.
And at the top, which is the least important, is obviously supplements, right?
Yep.
So just get a really good foundational knowledge of what actually matters,
Yep.
right? And then that is your like bullshit detector whenever someone goes away from that. So for instance, if someone says you need to have eight meals a day because that like spikes your metabolism, you're like, hang on a second. the number one principle is calories and macros, and that's what dictates your calorie burn and your metabolism.
Would you almost say someone who's too extreme in their approach to the way that they coach their clients is a red flag then? Like someone who's not willing to be more open-minded?
Yeah. Yes.
Would that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a key difference is that comp prep is extreme. So you do extreme things like getting super lean, those kind of things, right? So that's not a red flag because I was
going to say it depends on what that coach specializes in as well.
Yeah,
and
100%.
what you're looking for as a client.
Yes, totally. Yeah. So stay away from the extremes.
Yeah, I think it comes back to the client as well, like
what they need,
knowing what you're looking for, and then kind of just looking for coach based off that as well.
Yep.
I guess this actually brings a question to my thought as well, because I think a lot of people when they're looking for something, whether price or is one of the variables that dictates what you do, but like the difference between say an online coach and a coaching program, you know, like you know those programs like an 8-week challenge or whatever, you're like you pay for what you get.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people will be like, okay, cool, I could do this program for $10 a week. I could jump on this training subscription for $20 a month, or I pay $100 a week for a coach. A lot of people very quickly are saying, well, I'm not paying $100 for a coach, but they don't see the value in what that coach is going to provide them. And that coach is probably going to save them a lot of time and a lot of money in the long run. Do you have any thoughts around that kind of thing?
I completely agree. But, you know, people will go through their process, right?
Yeah.
They'll buy the $20 program. They'll do it. They won't learn absolutely anything, right? And then they'll go to a coach.
And that's going to say...
They'll eventually go there.
Yeah.
If they want more. Right?
Yeah.
If they want something specialized and actually get sustainable results and learn something too.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. I think when you're starting out with these things, you do start with that stuff. Yeah. And that's really helpful for a lot of people too. Like it's a really good way to get them into the door. But then, they find themselves eventually getting...
Yeah. So many clients have come from just doing F45 or
Kayla Itinus.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Doing her stuff and then like, you know, then they're like, oh, I want to.
Or a Rachel Dillon or a Lawrence
I think people are just like trying to,
because they find, you know, something that's going to get them started, and then they
want something that actually, that's more like custom or personalized towards what they're after
100%.
as well.
Yeah, definitely.
How are we going for time, Peter?
21.
Oh no, we're doing
perfect.
Good.
We're going
good. All right. A question that we have on here is how many clients would you like to share how many clients you're currently working with?
Yeah, so it's about 50.
Yep.
All females, all competitors.
All competitors and all that is very, very tailored coaching as well.
Yeah. What kind of made you, because you're obviously doing like general people
beforehand.
What made you want to do comp prep people?
From the start, my first 2 or 3 clients were comp prep straight away.
Oh, wow.
But just to get an income, I had to do also lifestyle.
Yep.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So that's like my goal was always comp prep from the start. It wasn't like, I'll see how I go, then maybe comp prep. It was like,
that was your goal
from the start.
Yep.
And actually my first client is still with me.
I was just about to say, who is your first client?
Bridget.
Oh, okay.
So she's ICN judge, ICN pro in fitness and in sports, and she's actually competing again this year.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
That is awesome.
So yeah, it just evolved into being just completely comp prep.
Yeah. That's awesome. So when did you start working with her?
End of 2016.
2016. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long do you find that like people stay on average with you? Because I know people like with coaches, people come and go all the time.
I think my strategy, right, is make the price something that's not so high that people can't stay because it's like, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I can't stay on for X amount of time.
Yeah.
So I think to myself is I'd rather have a low turnover, right, where I get people that stay with me for years because it's affordable, right? And then as I coach them for longer, it becomes easier for me to coach them.
Yeah.
So I actually put in less effort, if you want to call it that, because I just know them way too well. Right?
It's very true. I know exactly what you're saying.
So instead of charging an absolute premium and just turning over clients all the time because they just can't afford to stay with you, I'd rather price myself a little bit lower in the middle and then people stay with you for longer.
And then you're actually getting a higher client retention.
Yeah.
We were literally having this conversation just before. And like, because there's a lot of coaches out there that are paying charging extortion amount, and you're still not receiving the same like experience, but you're essentially getting the same thing at the end of the day with a lot of coaches. But the longer that you have your clients, you're building like a relationship, and you're building that trust. And
also too is they get better over time. Therefore, they get better results over time. Therefore, they get more wins, and they get blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah. Love it.
Just there's so many questions, but all right. One of the questions I think that's really important is what do you think is one of the most common struggles that your comp prep clients go through? Like what are some similar struggles that you notice day to day, month to month, or through every prep, and how do you help these clients overcome them?
There'd be a lot if they're all coming from females.
That's what I mean. Like, because we both know as coaches, we're dealing with the same thing over and over again. So what is it that your clients particularly are coming to you for when they're struggling, and how do you help them overcome it?
I think like let's put body image aside for 1 second, because that's always going to be a main component of them thinking that they don't look good enough, right? Whether it's in the off season or even in a comp prep, that's just comes with it, right? Completely comes with it. So let's just move that one off the table and just talk about another one. The next one's obviously going to be diet adherence, right? But the biggest reason I see diet adherence, being an issue is actually to do with their environment. So we spoke about like the physical environment. So what's in your fridge, what's in your pantry, right? And then also too is their support environment. So the people around them, right? If obviously you live by yourself, amazing, right? You don't have to worry about what's in your pantry because it's your stuff, and you don't need to have chips in there because you got kids, right?
That's parent. Right? If you're a parent, very hard.
So there's trying to make that environment as easy as possible, so you don't have to spend energy on resisting stuff all the time is super important. So that's the physical environment. The support environment is obviously if you had a partner or friends and things like that, they are also not trying to affect your adherence in any way by saying, oh, it's okay. Like you can do you can have
one
this,
bite
okay.
won't hurt.
Like
or
even
they feel sorry for you and they're like, no, it's cool. Have this, have that. You know what I mean? So, and then also socially your environment too. So your friends, the people that you hang out with, them understanding that, you maybe have to change how you act socially at the moment. I literally had this chat with a client, and it's always the younger ones that get affected, because when you're younger, when you're in your 20s, you're going through a period of time where people start changing direction in their life. Right? So you got the people like the ones that I coach, obviously they're doing comps. Not every 20-year-old is doing a comp, right? And it's completely different. So majority of other 20-year-olds are still drinking and partying and eating junk, right? So therefore, they're going to see that their friends are going to react in a certain way, right? And they're not going to really support them.
That's really hard.
It's really hard
because I was 21 when I competed, and I was like going to 21st birthdays, starving myself, not drinking, like taking my pre-workout, taking my Coke Zeros, and it's very hard for people around you to understand what you're doing.
Even like them not wanting to be your friend anymore. Like, to that point
literally too. They think it's too obsessive and all of that. But
also too is like sometimes they just want you to fill a bum on a seat at a restaurant. Oh, you're not coming to the restaurant with us. You're not coming to the club with us anymore. Just because they want you there for whatever reason, maybe it's to take selfies of them so they can post up, whatever. Not because they actually want your company or anything like that, or value you as a friend, right? So they're the biggest things that affect. It's your environment that's going to affect your adherence, right? If you can control your environment as much as you possibly can, have good support system, good people around you, physically there's no temptations, you're good to go.
That's huge.
Have you found that a lot of your younger clients that have come on to start prep have started for the wrong reasons?
Not really, and that's because normally I have a good conversation with them at the start.
Okay.
Like when I first have that first consult inquiry with them. And I never start someone straight into a prep. So you're really going to weed out the people that aren't doing it for the right reasons because even in the off season or in your build phase, there's still a level of restraint restriction and sacrifice that you need to go through. And if they're not going to do the basics when it's easy and you're well fed,
Yeah,
like,
100%.
they're not going to get through a prep.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Yeah.
Huge one. Because
Even if just like, because my first experience of going into a prep, like I was training and tracking and stuff beforehand, but not to that extent. And then when I decided to do a prep, it was like a hard cut for 8 months straight. And I was like, now looking back at it, I'm like, I definitely should not have done, I should have done 12 months at least in like a build phase and got myself ready for a prep.
Yeah.
Rather than just going straight in, because I'm like, I was not ready for it.
People don't get that though. I actually don't think people get that.
No.
Because like even I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Like my comp prep experience 5 years ago versus now, completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. And I think, well, my question to you is, how long do you think someone should sit on wanting to compete before actually competing?
I think there's no solid answer in a sense of like X amount of years, X amount of time. Everyone is completely different. Like I've got young people that haven't weight trained for that long, but they've been athletes growing up.
Yeah.
They've been into gymnastics or swimming.
They've got the mindset for it.
And they've like had a routine and structure.
Yeah.
They've had to get up at early in the morning, eat certain things. Like they've had that ingrained with them since they were young.
Yep.
So prep is like not a breeze, but it's a lot easier.
It's like something that they would actually be able to do.
Yeah. So the first thing I kind of understand is their lifestyle congruent with what you need to do in a prep, or the stuff we know we need to do in a prep, right? And then what do they physically look like?
Yeah.
Like you know,
how much time have you got to work with them?
We've got, yeah, I mean, from the sense of like, you know, what muscles do they need to bring up to be competitive, and knowing how much time that takes.
Yep.
And going, okay, well, you're not ready until 12 months, 18 months, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So everyone's different. Some people need a lot longer.
Yeah.
Some people don't need it as long. It's really just assessing them as they come in and just making that decision there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We touched on like what the hardest or like most difficult part of your job is. What's the best part of your job?
I think seeing people achieve their goals and the happiness that it brings. To be honest.
Yeah.
And I think another thing, and this is like a very, very specific thing, but watching their friends and family being proud of them.
Yeah.
Like seeing your parents at your was the best.
Bless.
It was the best. I love that. I love
It's so rewarding, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Like,
Yeah.
like as a coach, I think you definitely have your days where you're like, fuck, that was a hard day. That was hard. That was a lot of work on like a lot of eyes on my laptop. But then you have your days where like your clients will send you stuff and they're like, oh my God, like
Makes
I tried this dress on and this is the most confident I've ever felt in a bikini, or like they send you something and you're like, oh, or they'll send you those little moments where you're like, you've literally changed my life. And it's those moments where you're like, I think I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
That's the best. Is so nice. It's very rewarding, isn't it?
Doing something meaningful for someone else is what's the most
100%.
the happiest part for sure.
Yeah. What do you think it means to be a great coach?
Well, there's like the factual part, which is like, if you're a great coach, if you get great results.
Yeah.
But then there's the soft skills or the emotional part.
What are they?
You're a great coach if people have a great experience too.
Yeah.
And they come back enjoying the process and wanting to do it again.
Yeah.
So obviously the physical result of what they look like and making sure they achieve.
Because they, of course, still want to get results, right?
Their best, but then also it being the best experience they've ever had.
Yeah. I feel like you'll have more clients stick on with you too if they have
100%
an overall better experience.
I always tell people, and that's sometimes where I don't get people to rush into a comp or doing it, because it's like, I want you to come out the other end loving it.
Yeah.
Like, this was the best.
Yeah.
I want to do this again.
Yeah. Because if people have a miserable experience in a comp prep, like, and this is why competing does get a really bad reputation. And I think it's important for us as coaches to kind of show people like, this is what competing requires. It's not for everybody. And just because you've been training for like 5-10 years doesn't mean you have to compete.
Yeah.
Like,
or just because it looks glorious online.
Yeah, like you don't have to compete. But like, because again, would you agree that some of your clients have gone into competing for the wrong reasons?
Yeah, I think so. Like, there would be some that maybe are competing because they maybe want to get back at someone, or I'll show him,
Yeah.
I'll show him how good I can look.
Yeah. I always
He's like, so what he's
yeah. So
Do we want to point out any names in particular?
no, I think there's definitely some, like, of course, but it's a minority in my case.
Yeah.
It's a minority because you do that vetting process at the start.
Yes.
But going back to what you said, like, one of the things I ask is, have you been to a show before?
Mm.
Because some people, all they see on social media, right? And it looks glorified. And then it's like, actually go to a show, you realize you're going to have fake tan on, look ridiculous, and be half naked and get judged.
Yeah.
That's what you're in for. So
Yeah.
I know
In
on social
heels.
media you see the nice reels, right?
Yeah,
With the music overlay
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
but that's what you're in for.
Yeah.
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 It's a much different experience too when you're actually there and you see what's happening. Because the show in April, the WBFF show in April, was the first time you've seen it.
Well, again, working out what federation you want to do too, right?
Go to all the shows, watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like
It's
I've done
completely different
I've
being
done
there.
ICN, and then when I went to a WBFF show, I was like, what the actual fuck
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah.
Like, this is wild.
It's like almost like a beauty pageant.
Yeah. But not even that, just the stage
Yeah.
is way bigger. The audience is way bigger.
The energy, the vibe on stage is completely different.
It's way different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way
And that's
different.
why you need to go to a show to see if that's for you or if it's not.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Where do you think, in your own opinion, in the next 5 years, where the industry is kind of heading?
I had
What
a
do you think there'll be more of?
Yeah, I had a chat about this, and it's the reason why I had a chat about this with someone else is because we got a question on our potty, a DM, and it blew my mind. This person said, so I'm paying a premium for a coach, and recently they've been using AI to respond to my check-ins
Oh,
Wow.
no, really?
How did they know that though?
because they could see the similarities and the wording they were using. It wasn't what the coach would normally say, and they spoke to other clients and they were getting something similar in return. And I was like, this is really bad, but I can see how the industry may evolve into something like this. But what's good is it'll separate you from everyone else.
If you choose not to use AI.
Correct, because I think this is what my prediction is.
Yeah.
Is that your general lifestyle, really basic, easy to coach people will be taken by AI,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
For sure.
They'll plug in their information. They'll either answer some questions on a weekly basis and AI will tell them what to do,
Yep.
right? Because it's really basic,
Yep.
right? So I think all those online coaches that are lifestyle coaches, be warned. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it could go in that direction
Yep.
where you just pay half the price to be coached by an AI,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because it's pretty smart, right?
It's
Yeah.
that's
It's taking
insane.
over. It
Yeah.
actually is taking
Yeah.
over though.
It definitely can't do comp prep because I've gone into
Yeah.
Chat GPT and like asked them comp prep questions and it has no freaking idea.
Really?
No idea. Not even close. Right? So I
Yeah.
know that and also too is they're not going to be able to deal with some of the emotional situations that you need to deal with during a prep. So
Yeah.
I don't think, that's why I said it's going to separate you.
Yeah.
If you're a good coach and you're niched, I think it's going to separate you from everyone else, and all the other people that are in that bubble of just doing the basics and the easy stuff. I think that you're in trouble.
And on top of that, imagine just like I think about the state that I was in a week before, and I'm like, I remember I messaged you, and you were helping me, motivating me, making me feel better. I'm like, imagine having a computer tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be livid.
Like, I'm actually getting worked up thinking about that.
Go have a bath.
Oh,
and
don't even.
Go get a head massage.
Just take a bath, babe. You'll be
So you heard
fine.
about this?
Yeah.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
That's so interesting though. Like, I think AI is going to eventually take over most industries.
Most
how all my
stuff like basic stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's how all my students are doing their fucking essays.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine, right?
Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
it's
All of a sudden they've gotten super smart.
all of a
overnight.
sudden, yeah, wow. But the funny thing is, well, not the funny thing. I think people also like people need connection though. Like people
totally.
people
Humans
do
need it.
Yeah.
people still do look for that,
Mhm.
which I mean, there's a big. Let's not get into the debate on AI. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another whole
Yeah, yeah.
fucking thing. But yeah, you're right. It's
Mhm.
definitely something to think about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Amazing. Do you think that there's any trends or that are happening at the moment that are on Instagram or TikTok that are hot now that are just like not, I don't know, not a thing or
Not
not,
a thing.
beneficial, or they're pushing
They're gonna
information
die.
that's not true?
Yeah.
I honestly don't take any notice, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
And when I've been on TikTok, you're on there for too long and you're just like, okay, now I know why.
Yeah.
Now
You're in a hole.
Now I know why, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really see any trends. The only last trend I saw was people getting and I think it's still there, way too specific in their training of the little minutia muscle in their lat down the bottom there that they need to train,
Yeah.
right? Because they've got to do like a lat exercise when they like rotate their wrist.
Oh dear Lord.
And I'm just like, they don't even do a lat pull down. Like, do that one first. and
Yeah.
you
Do
can
the
get
basics,
you can get to the
right?
high level stuff. So I think there's a trend of doing extremes,
Yeah.
way too complicated stuff for
Yeah.
no good reason. Yeah.
I have actually seen a lot of that. And some things that you see, you're like, where did this even come from? Why is this even a thing?
Yeah. I think also too is I see trends of people putting exercises, like coaches putting exercises, and they're in the gym with the client doing the exercise. And I think to myself, there's no way that client is going to do that exercise by themselves. They just can't set it up. They can't get the weight in that position. There's no possible way. Like, there's ones where they're like, it's like a landmine. So it's like the bars in the corner of the room, like that kind of, you use the other end and it's like got 20, 30 kilos on it, but it's up on the person's shoulder and they're doing like some kind of curtsy lunge backwards over a box with a band on. I'm like,
What's going on here?
there's no way a client's going to be able to put that bar on their shoulder whilst having a band in. I was like, nah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Make it less. Yeah.
Too
Make
complicated.
Yeah.
But it looks great. It looks great.
For the gram.
It looks great for the gram.
Film it and then just call it a day.
You know how you brought up the mic sessions before?
Yeah.
So I went to do one, but for technique cues. Anyway, I said to Belle, I'm like, I don't know how anyone does this, mate. I'm in the gym for 3 hours. I'm never doing this again. The mic
think
sessions.
You're actually right. That is
Not
a trend.
for me.
That's a trend.
Look, I think
Why
they're
are
good.
people holding a mic while they're talking when it is a lapel mic where they can just put it on their t-shirt, but they're holding it in their hand talking like this, like they're eating some food. Right?
Well, my thing is though, if you're like, you have to schedule this day. I'm going to do content. Like that's literally what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, when I was trying to film content and train, I was like, I'm working at 40%
Yes.
of my effort.
Look, I think they're good for like technique.
That's what I'm saying. I
type
am
videos.
very supportive of technique videos.
Yeah.
And because I like doing technique videos, but what I'm trying to say is you literally have to book out like a day and be like, this is the day I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot education content. I'm just saying, if you're there thinking that you're doing the hardest workout of your life while you're mic'd up,
there's absolutely no way.
Not. Like,
I feel like
not,
you can't. Yeah.
You got to separate your own workout from doing an educational workout. For sure.
Yeah.
But you know what I love too, like while we're talking about this stuff, is when people do an exercise and they're straining on their face and they're making it look way harder than what it really is. Like, you can see they've got like just a 10-kilo bar, right? And they're doing it like an RDL and they're squeezing their glutes and they're just like cringing in their face, like, shut up.
Put it down and go to bed.
There's no way that it is that hard. There's no way it's that hard where you are shaking and grimacing in your face and you've only got 10 kilos.
Does that give you the ick?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yes.
I thought to myself, man, I reckon I could be the biggest Instagram star because there's so many things I know are absolute bullshit but work really, really well online.
You should do
I can't stoop to that level.
You should do one of those ones where you screen record someone and then you have you in front of it, just like mimicking back on it. But like, what the fuck is going on here? What is the biggest thing that gives you like? Other than that, like, what do you see in the gym and you're like, nah? Or do you ever see other coaches or trainers helping people and you're like, that's wrong, that's wrong?
I'm lucky because now I go to a gym that it looks like everyone in there is pretty serious.
Where do you train?
At NRG in Essendon.
Oh, yeah.
So they look like they're pretty serious. They probably have a coach or they're following a program. There's nothing in there that I've seen cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, at all, which has been lucky for me. Otherwise, but I got headphones on and eyes are down. I don't want to eye contact no one.
Yeah.
Because I'll get distracted
Yes.
because they will do something dumb and I'll be like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'd definitely stay out of that side of things. I don't know. I like to think I'd support people. If they're saying the wrong thing, I just stay out of it. I don't.
But online, if we're talking about like what people say online, there's just, as we said, extremes. This is probably going to be one of the topics of the, but also too is absolutes. Like, this is how you must do this. This is only this way.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of them too.
Yeah, because again, like it's all variable. It's all dependent on the
100%.
context, on the person.
Yeah.
The answer you're looking for is it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
You want an answer that's it depends.
Depends. Go further. Let me know. Tell me more.
Yeah. All right.
What would you like to see? Oh,
you answered that question already. You were going to say that. What would you like to see?
What would you like to see more of in the industry?
Less dumb stuff.
Did you say I answered that?
No, you have it.
Less stuff of what we've just been talking about.
Yeah.
Less of that stuff, really.
Yeah. Cool.
Less fuckheads.
Yeah, less stuff.
So what are the next big moves for you then in terms of what you want, what you're focusing on? Obviously, you're focusing on comp prep clients, but is there anything like any big projects in the making or, a direction that you want to head down?
Yeah, I think the educational seminar bit for sure.
Yeah.
At the moment, another Michael and Scott, who are also coaches I'm friends with, we promote for a federation at the moment. So we're going to get more involved in doing that kind of stuff. So want to kind of keep that low key at the moment because we're trying to work on a couple of different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there'll be more involvement in federations and promoting shows, other than comp prep clients. That'll always be my number one.
Yeah.
That'll always be my number one.
What about can you talk more about your fitness retreat that you've got coming up?
Yeah, so we've got a fitness retreat in Bali next year.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. We wanted to do it differently. We wanted to do it specifically for coaches and competitors.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to make it, a trip that, you do some crappy exercise on the beach and then you go drink all night. Like we're going to have a company that's going to provide all your food if you want it to your macros. We're going to have training every day or, at least 5 days. And then we're also going to have seminars too. And
it's literally for coaches.
It's for coaches and competitors.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be specific around that.
When is this?
3rd of March. 3rd of March. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a week. So we wanted to tailor it like that. Yeah.
That's sick.
Because we've seen some other Bali retreats and there's kind of... Have
you done one?
I've never done one, but the other boys that I'm doing it with have. And also we've seen a lot online, obviously. But yeah, it's kind of half in, half out. It's like, it is a fitness retreat, but it's not...
the balanced style.
Yeah, it's not all the way there. We want it to be extreme. Like
because that's
we want it to be for competitors and coaches and be very, very specific. And it's definitely a holiday. It's definitely a getaway. You get a massage every day.
We love that.
I'm going to be asking for a head massage.
Head massage and a haircut.
Give him the barber.
Yeah. And you're going to have your free time and we're going to do like some tours and some hikes and stuff like that.
You're bloody doing that volcano hike at 4 a.m?
Yes.
Yeah, that will be on the list.
That was brutal. I did that I did a Bali retreat and I got like food poisoning, Bali belly, whatever hell you want to call it.
So we don't want that. That's why we want the food prepped. Yeah.
Is the food prep company that you're looking at over there or here?
Yes, they're there. Okay. And Scotty, the other coach.
Is this in Canggu?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's used them whilst he's been on prep over there. And actually I'll be on prep while I'm there.
Oh, okay.
And the other,
will you? You're going to be competing?
Michael, yeah, because I'm competing next season B next year. So I'll be on prep and the other Michael will be on prep. So we're going to have to eat well and train and stay everything on point. So, and even people doing season A, because, we're having in March, we recommend season A, Yeah, we recommend that's perfectly fine if you want to come if you're in prep because we're going to be in prep. And if anything, it's probably going to help with your prep because we're going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think a thing as well, like obviously most of your clients are comp prep people. So like you can't not go.
Isn't it interesting how when you're surrounded by people that you, for example, doing a comp prep with people who aren't into that makes your life a lot harder compared to being surrounded by a group where you're supported with like-minded people.
Yeah.
like I know for me, because I've got my coach is also in prep at the moment, and you know the actual BBB team. There's a number of girls who are also in prep. It makes your life so much easier because you gravitate towards those people, right?
Yeah,
totally. So this is like perfect.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Surrounded by like-minded people.
Yeah. Would you let people not either in the business world of coaching or competing?
100%. Yeah. We just say that like it's tailored to that kind of focus group. So the seminars are going to be around coaching and comp prep and business. If you're like coaching business, stuff like that. And also the training is going to be bodybuilding training. It's not going to be like doing something on the beach with a sandbag or something, right?
You're not going to be doing any F45 training.
I'm not doing fucking slam balls and clean hangs or whatever.
There's none of that stuff. Yeah.
Air bikes.
For people that are interested that are listening, how can they find out how to get
just contact me.
Yeah.
All right.
Slide in your DMs
right now.
and
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Lock me in now.
Done.
Love it.
We're actually locking in people now.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna say that right now. I'm locking in.
Okay.
When's the like close off date for it?
It was on Monday.
Cool. So forget it then.
But there's some spots because we've booked out X amount of rooms and we still have some spots available. Low key.
Kayla and Georgia.
This is coming out next week, right? So
Kayla and Georgia.
Okay, cool.
No, this is coming out in 2 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they're probably all going to be filled by the time. But
Yeah.
Sorry, these guys just took the spots.
We just took them. Done. Sorry about that.
That means you just have to do another one.
We're going to get to a position where we're going to do 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dream.
That's amazing. I love the idea of it too. Yeah.
That'd be good. And eventually we want to bring other people that are going to add value. Like we'd love to bring then opposing coach with us and other people like that.
Miss Donna.
or maybe someone that's like into eating disorders only.
Yeah.
And like come and they do seminars about that. So like we'll start to niche it out a little bit more and add more value to each one as well.
That's perfect. I love the sound of it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you go.
We like I mentioned before about the rapid fire, we always do some rapid fire questions to end the episode.
Yeah.
So we've got 16 here. You haven't seen any of the
I actually won't look at the screen.
I was about to say you're doing like
don't look.
So usually we just say what the question is and the first thing that pops to your head, straight out. The first couple are a little bit like a little deeper, and then the rest are like.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Kayla, you kick it off.
All right. One thing people can implement to develop a healthy relationship with exercise and avoid obsessing over weight loss or aesthetic goals.
Routine would be one of the most important things.
Oh, yeah.
And then stop comparing yourself to other people.
Great answer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
One thing people can do to overcome mental barriers to push through a workout plateau.
Making sure that you are honest with yourself that you are actually training with intensity. Because you may hit a plateau, but you probably have more in the tank. You're just not pushing hard enough.
Yeah.
100%.
You've hit like a burnout or you're tired and fatigued.
Yeah, like if there's other factors where you're under eating because you're in prep. You're not sleeping right because you're in prep. You have no energy because you're in prep. Then you're probably going to hit a plateau.
Yeah. Something sound familiar, Georgia? Triggered. I'm feeling really triggered. 2 exercises that can improve cognitive function and brain health.
So for me to improve my brain health, I just listen to podcasts constantly. Like I'm constantly trying to learn something. Yeah. So continuing to try to do things that increase your knowledge or you're learning something. Like I don't listen to music anymore. Anything just because it might be cool. I might find out what's going on in Compton because some gangster got shot, right? But I don't really care. Like I'd rather learn about something a bit more interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
A piece of advice you could give to your younger self. One piece of advice.
Oof.
Rapid fire, Michael.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Favorite body part to train?
Back.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Favorite meal in and out of prep? Or is it the exact same thing? Chicken and broccoli.
Favorite meal in prep? I actually got into like making a protein pancake.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I like that.
Yum.
That was good. Out of prep, Like probably like a wrap, suvo, kebab, burrito.
I'm done
dear.
already. Kebab done.
Something in a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yum.
We've kind of covered this, but go again. Biggest ick in the gym.
Yeah, just people doing extreme stuff that doesn't need to be done.
The
Yeah.
extremes.
Yeah, the extremes.
Biggest ick as a coach that you see with your clients.
Like people not believing in themselves and really not putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I believe in people more than they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
Like they have so much potential, but sometimes they don't realize it.
The
Yeah.
headspace mindset.
Yeah.
Train upper body only or lower body only for the rest of your life?
It's got to be upper. Just
Typical.
board shorts on.
Portions.
Board shorts on. Men's physique. Done.
But you have to have legs like this,
Like.
like pins.
Oh, yeah.
And if you train legs, you have to be skinny upper body.
Nah. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you ask a female, they'd say the other way.
100%.
They probably would. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Standard. One thing people tend to misunderstand about you.
That I'm like a little bit too direct and like straightforward
Yeah.
and like unemotional in a way. Like
Yeah.
just like I'm just too straight to the point.
So what are you?
I'm very
Direct.
I'm very understanding.
Yeah.
But when I talk to someone, it's almost like we're in a huddle, and it's like, okay, just do this. And sometimes they're like, they want it to be like, okay, like it's all good. Be a little bit softer than that. But I'm like trying to help them, so I'm like direct, like just we'll do this and then we'll do that.
And you get excited for
And I
them.
get excited for them.
Yeah.
And then so
Yeah.
that'll be it.
Alrighty. Online or face-to-face coaching for the rest of your life?
Well, that's
Online.
Very clear.
Online.
very
Very
clear.
clear.
Online, yeah.
Calorie deficit or calorie surplus?
Deficit.
Whoa,
really?
Really?
You like
Your deficit would be very different to everyone else's, though.
nah, my metabolism, like we can go into that, but
Mm.
I have to go on pretty low calories to get like absolutely diced.
Really?
Yeah, like absolutely diced. But just a deficit to look like six-pack ab is fine. Anything below that, like we were trying to get like lines all over the body inside out, nah, that's not fun.
Yeah, we're not stage lean.
But it's way more comfortable being in a deficit.
Yeah.
Like comfortable digestion wise, like I feel like I'm not as sluggish when I'm in a deficit. I'm more,
Yeah.
I'm more
Really?
productive because
When you're
I'm
in a
trying to
deficit.
I'm trying to waste time
Yeah.
between meals.
But
Yes.
you're not talking about an extreme deficit. You're talking about a comfortable,
Conservative
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Conservative.
I'd rather be a little bit empty in the tank, not so full that I,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
very true, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is rapid fire. I'm going to
Okay.
ramble
No,
on.
but it's okay. I was going to say, this is me at the moment. I'm like, what can I do? Go and do my steps. Go and do this. Don't
You
get
get
a
so much
pantry.
done. Your house is probably the cleanest it's ever been.
Yeah, 100%.
Not gonna lie. You got me. Oh.
One thing you're proudest of.
I think the fact that I made that leap from
Oh.
into being self-employed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I keep hearing this. It's giving me faith. Making me
Gotta
happy.
do it.
Making me happy.
Gotta do
One thing you regret.
One thing I regret.
Not quitting your job earlier.
Yeah, like that's the easy answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I didn't wait too long to compete between my shows, like 2011, and then waited 11 years.
Which federation do you compete in? ICN.
Recently I've done ICN and AMB again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to do next year too?
I'll probably do NBA also, just all three.
Yeah.
All three natty feds. Yeah.
Why do you wish you didn't wait?
I think because, when you compete, it's almost like doing something for yourself.
Mm.
And during that 11 years, I felt like I was doing things for
Everyone else.
Yeah.
And not really doing something for myself. But again, like growing a business and stuff, like, it is for me, but also it's, putting everyone else first.
Yeah.
If you're
Sure.
trying to grow your business.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I've got to add another question. Hardest thing about business?
Business. Sometimes thinking that you're not good enough and that
Yeah.
you've got to prove, like, be confident in your abilities sometimes, but I think that's a good thing.
Yep.
Like having that underdog mentality
Yeah.
is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Having, I think it's actually a good thing, but it's one thing I struggle with. But like you know me, like I'm pretty humble. Like I don't want to take any compliment. I'm the worst at taking compliments.
Really?
Yeah, like the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
But you don't want to think that you've got it all figured out and think that your business is the best business that there is out there, because then people will just be like,
Nah, people don't like
that. You won't grow, you won't learn.
Yeah,
right?
nah.
If you think you know everything, you stop
don't.
learning.
100%.
yeah.
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
I've ever received. I think, like taking a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believing in
A
yourself.
calculated risk or
It's calculated.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's got to be calculated. I've got to think about it. I'm like an overthinker because obviously engineering, right? So
Yes.
it's got to be, but believing in your abilities.
Yeah.
Believing in your abilities and what you can achieve.
Back
Love
yourself.
Yeah, you got to back
right?
yourself. Yeah, for sure.
And the biggest lesson you've learned this year?
I think giving back to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like taking some time out, doing a little bit of travel here and there, or just doing things that aren't related to work at all.
Like, back to the whole what you said, what you struggle with the most is setting the boundaries to have more of your time as well.
Yeah. And you just know that everyone's going to survive without you for a day.
Yeah. We struggle to do that though, don't we? Because I get like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people around you miss out. Like my parents are getting older.
Mm.
Like my dad hit 70 and mum's going to be close behind. Like how many more years they got left? I don't want to be not spending my Sunday with them because I'm too busy answering questions on my phone. Or
Working.
like that, you know what I mean?
100%.
So,
This brings a massive thing to my head too, because I've got like 2 nephews and I think about this all the time. I'm like I need you always think I need to be making more effort with my family, or I need to be doing this or I need to be doing that. Like work can wait. Yeah, it's hard to switch off.
Yeah. There's definitely a balance you have to find for sure. Yeah.
With anything though. That's with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps us up for today. Wow, that was so good. Thank you so much for jumping on.
What are we on? How do we do
How'd
for
we
time?
go?
Oh, smack on. Look at that.
Do you want to wrap up this episode today, Georgia?
Oh, I think you should take, because I don't want to cop it again. I copped it the last couple of weeks for fucking up the wrap up. So Kayla, take it away.
Oh, you know how much everyone's sick of hearing my voice. Okay, so
well, at least you don't stumble over your words and say 100 times. So
all right, so
I've been cut from doing it.
Firstly, massive thank you for actually coming into the studio live and being here with us. So thank you as always. To those of you who are still here, thanks again. If you're loving the Evolve to Thrive podcast and the episodes that we are bringing to you each week, we would absolutely love for you to leave us a review on Spotify. Your feedback really does help us out immensely. Let us know which episodes and topics have been your favorite so far, and what you would love to hear more of. So is it training? Is it nutrition? Is it lifestyle?
Is it Kayla's dating stories?
Non-existent. Apparently when I'm in prep, like I just don't have any libido when I do not date. And I just
every time you come in here, it's a new story. You've got a new story.
I've
for
got
me
none.
And Peter, so
I've got no stories. I'm gonna have to book some dates just so that we've got content to cover.
Content for the pod. Yeah, righto.
So yeah, let us know if you actually want to hear more about our lifestyle, dating life, relationships. Georgia's got more time for relationships now that she's out of prep, so maybe she's got some stories. But yeah, if you'd like to drop a topic about something or someone you'd love to get on, then make sure you send us a DM, reach out to us at the Evolve to Thrive podcast or at our personal ones. But
where can they find you?
Yeah, where can the listeners find you, Michael?
Instagram, Michael Trimboli Fit.
Ooh.
Michael Trimboli Fit.
Yeah.
If you want to compete.
And is that for any like training related? That's where they find you, all on Instagram?
That's my IG. It's,
no website? The website's not up and running
there's
anymore?
There's a link there to it. Just
but slide through the DMs.
Slide into the DMs to jump on this retreat. That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah. Well, by the time you guys are listening to this, finito. It's going to be done.
Ship sailed. Sorry.
Waiting list.
Me and Kayla will be the last ones like this.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.